The horrifying clown from the Terrifier films causes a lot of violence on screen, but did you know the costume alone almost got a man shot behind the scenes, and cops were called a second time too? Though the bloodthirsty antagonist Art the Clown appeared in a handful of horror films throughout the early 2000s and 2010s, it wasn't until 2016 that David Howard Thornton took over the role to star in the first official Terrifier movie. In the film, Art wreaks havoc on Halloween night as he hunts down Tara and her sister Victoria. Unfortunately, as Slash Film's Chris Evangelista observed in his Terrifier 2 review, the first official installment of the Terrifier canon was basically just a gore fest with little story to grab onto. The second movie caused a significant stir in 2022 for its extreme gore and vastly improved story and characters, setting the stage for the upcoming Terrifier 3. While Terrifier wasn't as well realized a film as its sequel, the makeshift visual effects, most of which were crafted by director Damien Leone himself, were undeniably impressive. However, one of the biggest issues with using practical visual effects while shooting a low-budget independent slasher is that you will frequently upset unwitting members of the public. Somewhat unsurprisingly, that's exactly what happened with both Terrifier films.
I didn't mean to frighten you, dear.
Speaking to smash or pass indie filmmaking, Thornton recalled how one scene in particular almost got him shot by police. The $35,000 production was shooting in Trenton, New Jersey, when things took a turn. As the actor recalled, there were two ladies arguing under the window of where I got my makeup on. I went over to watch the argument while they were filming a scene on set. Forgetting how I looked, they looked up and saw this blood-covered clown looking down at them and ran off screaming. Thornton went on to recount how half an hour later, Leone and producer Phil Falcone asked him to come outside, where he was greeted by over a dozen police officers in full riot gear. He explained that the area they were shooting in was not particularly safe, and that the women he'd seen earlier called the cops to report a bloody clown. Luckily, his explanation saved Thornton from a bullet, as he told the outlet, "They laughed their butts off when I came out, and told me that I better be glad that I did not come out before my director and producer did, or that I would have been shot on sight." Thankfully, nothing as horrific as an actual shooting happened on this specific occasion. As Thornton went on to explain, he actually ended up taking pictures with the officers, though some kept their distance due to their own personal fear of clowns. Interestingly enough, it wouldn't be the last time the police were called to a Terrifier set. In fact, having the cops show up to set seems to have become an occupational hazard of Leone's brand of indie slasher filmmaking. During an interview at Creep IE-Con 2023, Thornton recalled how during filming for the laundromat scene in Terrifier 2, he once again found himself face-to-face with the New Jersey police. He explained, "I'm sitting there naked, covered in blood, and the cops said, 'We hear there was a bloody clown that came in here.' And I'm like, 'Hi, it was me.'" At least on this occasion, Thornton wasn't confronted with an entire riot squad ready to shoot, though he did face the uncomfortable situation of needing to reassure cops while wearing nothing but a newspaper. If anything, these reactions from unsuspecting passersby just legitimize the horrifying nature of a figure like Art the Clown. The original Terrifier came out around the time that the United States was experiencing a spree of creepy clown sightings. In fact, Rolling Stone published an article chronicling this phenomenon just weeks before the first film came out. If the upcoming Terrifier 3's trailer is any indication, the third installment to the franchise might be even more horrifying than any of the violence we've seen thus far. It will be interesting to hear whether Leone and Thornton did anything to get the cops called this time around.